Hey everyone, it's the Tarot Counselor. We're going to do a reading today on these coronavirus spikes that we're seeing in June and July here and see what's the energy behind this and what we can glean from the wisdom of the tarot. Before we get started, comment in the comments with your zodiac sign so we can see what kind of energy is attracted to this type of reading. And if you like tarot readings, go ahead and subscribe to this channel. You'll see other kinds of readings we'll do. And then if you have a specific concern or you want to see what's going on in your area of the woods or for you or your family with the coronavirus, then look at the links in the description, see how you can work with me and get your own personalized tarot reading. Now let's get back to the tarot reading at hand, what's going on with the spikes in the coronavirus cases that we're seeing recently coming up in the news versus where we'd been previously. And so the first card we have here, so this is the Ten of Wands. So the Ten of Wands really says, that's just the kind of the heavy burden that everyone's been carrying. People are almost, almost over it because they've been really hunkered down, or lots of people have been, having trouble going to work, or have been laid off from their jobs, or so forth, or just not getting out as much as they used to, especially for extroverted people who would be difficult not to socialize as much and only go out occasionally. And so people are just, 10 in the numerology, this being the last card of the deck in the series. This is people are, kind of over this and they're ready for a new beginning, a fresh start. So it's really hard to kind of get people to stay home when their energy says that they're at their wits' end and it's too much of a burden for them to continue to go on. I think the next card you have acting upon this as well is you've got the King of Cups, which tells me from an emotional level, King being the highest of the court cards, that everyone kind of has their own, they've already decided where they sit in this emotionally. So it's going to be very difficult to move anyone's opinion. We see this from the news or anything like that. So if you believe that the coronavirus is something that we should be heavily concerned about, then no one's going to convince you in another way. But if you believe that the impact on the economy is too great and we need to kind of muscle through or continue through by continuing to open up as some places have been despite the rise in cases, then what it says is everybody in their own camps, wherever they are, they're so mature in that they've spent so much time with it that it's going to be very difficult to move people from those positions. And so that's why it's going to be very difficult to kind of reverse the momentum that's been kind of established. Because I think several months ago, people were easily able to react and say, okay, listen to the advice of what the experts were saying and adjust accordingly. And nowadays what's happening is people are so entrenched in their positions. That's why the King is here. They're so far along emotionally. They know exactly how they feel about the situation, and it's going to be very, very difficult for anyone to move them from where they are in the situation. That people are kind of entrenched in their thoughts. So those who think that things should continue to open up will continue to think that things should open up. Those who think we should be doing more to try to prevent them are going to think should try to do more, have more policies to do that. And the kind of, like everything else in our society and culture, that's going to be very polarized, and it's going to be hard. There's going to be less people in the middle. You don't see the temperance card here anywhere from the major arcana, which would be the one about the ability to see both sides of the situation, the go-between, the mediator in numerology. There's nothing like that in these cards. This is really kind of entrenched feelings or emotions from everybody. Third card we have here, so this is the Seven of Wands. So the Seven of Wands is really kind of feeling like you're being attacked. So I think by I always call this like the haters card, right? So you're kind of being attacked by the haters. So I think it kind of relates piling onto this. Everyone's so entrenched in their own positions that they feel like no matter where they are in their own position, that like everybody from the other side is going to start attacking them or try to make them feel a different way. And they're less likely to be moved from that, but they do feel like there's so much kind of negativity out there, no matter where you sit in this. I think it goes back to just the burden that people have, the frustration. It's just hard to maintain that kind of momentum or energy for a long period of time. Talk about sacrifice. I think that kind of goes to some of this, I would say not just the whole generation, but our whole new, immediate culture and stuff like that, where we have access to everything immediately. When you think about the war effort, in World War II and stuff like that, where people were giving up all the metal scrap metal that they had for the war effort, and doing some rationing and so forth. then those kinds of practices continued over years. We're here struggling in modern day life to even get through months of sacrificing either our time, our economy, our freedoms, or kind of ability to go out and travel. So that's kind of represented by here is, people feeling like, they're going to get attacked for no matter what their beliefs are or where they sit in this. And that's what's creating this kind of dynamic where once you feel you're attacked, everyone's going to get more entrenched into their own sides with how they're feeling because they're already so far along in their feelings that they just won't allow someone else to convince them one way or another, whether they're right or wrong. And so everyone's kind of entrenched in their own positions, and that's why it's going to be hard. I think before you can get lots of people to follow certain rules or shut down for a couple of weeks pretty willingly, I think you're going to get, even if some other mandates came out, you're going to have a lot of resistance from people who just may not follow it or follow as completely as might need to be followed in order to kind of shorten the curve. So the end result of all of this is if people are really at the end of the rope or feeling this heavy burden from it, and they're kind of really entrenched emotionally on the positions that they carry, and it's going to be hard for anyone to kind of move them from that, and they feel like everyone else is kind of attacking them, which gets them more entrenched in their position. I think what to look for, in the short term for you in your area is that this is the miser, this is the Four of Pentacles. Everyone's going to get more stubborn with their money, which may have a negative impact on the economy where you are, where, if they see the potential of things may not be getting better, the economy now may open up as fast as we thought it would, restaurants aren't open as fast as people thought they would or hoped they would at this point, especially for the summer, then I think people are going to be more cautious to either take a vacation or do things or make large purchases, and that's going to kind of cause a sputtering of the whole economy. Where the miser is, because you can see between his feet and his hands, he has some money. I think everyone has some amount of money that, if they still have their job or they're still working, those are the people you still need to access the economy, because there's so many people out there that have lost their jobs or have lost some of their hours and are suffering, that we really need the rest of the economy to work, so that we hopefully can get everyone back to work. But what this says is even those who have the resources or have the money, they're feeling more cautious right now because they're afraid of losing what they have because of the uncertainty that's facing us in the short term. So I think that's where you're going to see a continued negative effect, negative drag on the economy where you are, because even those who should be contributing or could be contributing to the economy or could be contributing to their community are going to be a little more cautious and maybe kind of have some cash reserves, some savings, so that they are prepared in case things get worse as things go forward. So that kind of tells us some of the background as to why things are the way they are. So you have everyone's kind of at their wits' end as much as they could take right now. They're entrenched in their positions. They feel like everyone else is attacking, which makes them even more entrenched in how they feel about the situation. And then the economy is going to kind of stagnate from here until something changes fundamentally, or there's a vaccine, and then we can kind of continue to move forward. So again, that's kind of general energy we see. And if you want to have your own reading done to get your personalized reading to see what's going on, or if you have any other situations or concerns you'd like clarity, check in the description below to see what kind of links I have there to see how you can work with me to get your own reading.